You want to know what gets me hot? This. My name is Matt, and this is Fries on the Side. We are a family-based camping, overlanding adventure channel. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about this diesel heater and why I'm still not a big fan of it. First, let's talk about what this thing is. So you plug the heater in to a 12-volt source, which powers the pump, and it powers the controllers, and it powers the fan inside here that pushes the hot air out. You fill this thing with diesel or kerosene, and then it feeds a combustion chamber, which heats up, which pulls air through here and exhausts air through here, which comes out the bottom with a little muffler. And then there's fins on the exterior of that motor that have, and there's also a little fan, and that fan is basically pulling all that hot air over those fins through this pipe and into your small space. So for people that are looking to extend that fall and winter, camping or overlanding, this has been a really popular solution. So the benefits are it's a very dry and hot air that comes out of here, and you're not using the combustion air, which could be, potential moisture and all of that and fumes, etc. So you're getting a very clean, dry air that comes out of it. It doesn't take a ton of power, and it sips on diesel fuel. So it sounds like a pretty awesome solution, right? Well, not quite. All right, so leading up to my biggest concern with these things, I'll start with some low-hanging fruit. I had mentioned the fuel pump. This fuel pump has a very annoying tick to it. So it goes tick, 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 and it's consistent. And the higher you ramp it up, the more call for diesel, the faster the pump goes, and the faster the ticking happens. And specifically when you're using something like this for, before you go to bed, heating up your teardrop or heating up your tent, you hear the ticking noise. And if you want to run it all night, you're going to hear it all night. So if you're a sensitive sleeper, it's pretty annoying. Now, I know that there's people coming up with solutions to insulating it and doing all this stuff, and that leads me to a different point, which I'll get to here in a second. The next thing, these controllers. These controllers are the least user-friendly thing I've ever witnessed. You start to figure it out after a while, but I literally saved a couple of YouTube videos where there's tutorials on like how you change for elevation and how you change for priming, and it's about 2-button holding, and there's just so many settings that aren't very intuitive, and it makes it very difficult when you're trying to depend on something like this. And this control panel is also where you get your error codes. And this leads me to one of my biggest issues with these things. They are very finicky, and you have ranging quality from people that have had success with these for a year, 2 years, to literally the first time they use it, it's throwing codes. Things need to be adjusted, cleaned, low power, low fuel, bad fuel, everything, you name it. But it pops up as an error code, and you don't know necessarily what it is, so you're trying to figure out and troubleshoot. And again, that could put you in a compromising situation. Winter camping, if not prepared, can be very dangerous, and you should take it seriously. Now, my intent is not to scare people away from winter camping, because frankly, it's become one of my favorite times to go out and experience the outdoors. But systems that are being used for your safety, like this, like a first aid kit, like a fire extinguisher, like CO2 detectors, all these things that you need for your safety need to be respected and understood. So I personally have had these diesel heaters fail on me, and have had it fail on a couple of my friends when out camping. Now, I also heard equal arguments that I've had no issues with these things and they run like a champ. But that variable to me, and for something that's really helping you stay safe in a cold condition, that concerns me that there's varying results with these. And end of the day, I've seen so many issues with these things in the past couple of years that they've really hit the market, specifically these cheap Chinese ones, that I honestly believe that you need to be prepared to manage without this. You need to use this as a helping hand. And because there's so many issues with these things, there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there that are adjusting, fixing, because there's so many faults with this. And frankly, you just get such a vast amount of information, you don't know what may work for your situation. It makes me concerned when we're depending on something for your safety and we're messing around with it because the factory can't get it right to begin with. All right, so now let's get to what really fires me up about these things. It's the glamorization that's happening on social media about these things and being the, we'll say, silver bullet or the game changer, basically convincing people that if you have this, you can go out and you're capable of doing winter camping. Now, I'm going to premise this with that I'm no expert. I'm still learning. I'm right there with a lot of you. And there may be some subject matter experts out there about these diesel heaters that understand how they work. There are some people that honestly have just had no bad luck with them, so I feel like that's also a little biased with opinions. But the problem is when people ask, what are you doing for winter camping? How are you doing it successful? And the minute people just put diesel heaters, and they don't premise it with the faults or the issues that come along with them. And it's concerning to me that we're potentially putting people at risk, sending them out with these diesel heaters. They have a fault and they don't know how to manage that winter camping. For me, how we use it, I use it to kind of take the edge off. I use it to warm up the tent in the beginning, or the teardrop at the beginning of the night. I turn it off. I start it up in the morning. So that means I'm dressed properly. I've got the proper sleeping attire and gear within those spaces. I know how to keep myself warm. I know when my body is getting too cold, where I need to start reacting and doing something different. And those are the skill sets that I think need to be understood before you go jumping in, buying a diesel heater, and going out in the middle of the woods in a very cold night, and these things fail on you. And that's my concern. That's my frustration with them. All right, I am freezing. I got to get inside. My hands are starting to, I can't feel my hands. I hope you found this informative. Obviously, drop some comments down below. I'm sure we're going to get some varying opinions down there. Hit that thumbs up if you like this type of content. And thank you for watching Fries on the Side, where adventure is served.